Hello, this is maybe the last video of the first class. Uh, Thank you for listening, and it's getting longer than I expected, which is good. Uh, I always try to speak slowly. I have a tendency to speak too fast, so please let me know if my speech is too fast. The last part of the first class is about statistical practice. It is just a basic guideline when you do actual data analysis. So let me show you some useful data sources. We are not going to use these data in this course, but when you are interested in a certain topic, you may want to obtain a certain data set, then you may refer to this list. Some government agencies provide publicly available data. They are very useful. Like Census Bureau offers population data, number of households data, poverty rate, demographics, like age distribution, racial distributions. So if you are curious about them, uh, go to the Census Bureau webpage. And FRB has many branches, and St. Louis branch handles the data. And the St. Louis FRB offers inflation rate data, interest rate data, exchange rate data. So many financial data can be found here, like consumer price index, or like T-bond rate, treasury bond rate, and exchange rates. And also, Bureau of Labor Statistics has many data about the job market, labor market. Typically, unemployment rates or number of jobs created. So in the news, you hear how many jobs have been created or destroyed in the last month. That is announced from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So labor market data can be found here. And the Bureau of Economic Analysis provides other basic economic data like GDP and international trade and corporate profits. So they handle more macroeconomic big picture of the economic situations. And finally, Congressional Budget Office has data about federal spending, like tax revenue, and their forecasts. How much tax will be they are going to get next year. Blah blah blah. So these are commonly used government agencies and other online resources. First, American Economic Association is the biggest economic association, professional association in the United States, has a web page that lists good online resources. They are very useful. You can find many data resources and many other information from their web page. They have separate resources web page for students. A student resources web page do exist. And another useful web page is IPUMS, Integrated Public Use Microdata Series. IPUMS, IPUMS is a platform that collects publicly available data into one place. So I guess IPUMS is managed by the University of Minnesota. So it is open to anyone, and it is very easy to download the data from this web page. So if you are looking for some data, try that web page. And National Bureau of Economic Research it's a semi-government agency, but it consists of economics professors, and they collect research-oriented data, the data used in professors' researches. So if you are more serious about research and when you read academic articles, and if you're curious about the data, you may check if the data are available on this website. And finally, international data are collected by the World Bank or OECD. So they just collect data from each country and make the data set available, easily accessible, especially for international trade, or if you want to compare across countries, you want to use World Bank or OECD web pages. So in this course, I'm not going to ask you to download and work on the data. I will provide the data set if needed. So I'm telling you, if you are interested in one of those data, then you can find it by yourself. And programs. When you have data, of course, you need to have a program to handle the data. And there are four, I grouped typical programs into 4 different levels. So the Microsoft is the most accessible, convenient, and easiest program to use. So I believe any college graduate is expected to use Excel in their job at some point. So you should learn how to use Excel, at least the basic functions. You should be able to calculate the average of data on Excel. That's bare minimum to find a job related to data or as an econ major graduate. And the second level is if you are a little more advanced than Excel, you can use Stata, SAS, SPSS. They are more general purpose data analysis programs. So Excel is more for beginners. The Stata has more functions. It contains more commands, more different commands, more various models. So if you want to use the simple statistical models, you can use Excel. Like for example, when you calculate average, Excel is enough. But when you want to use a little like some kind of model named like more advanced models, statistical models, you may want to use Stata, SAS, or SPSS. And many data-oriented jobs require these programs, like government offices or insurance companies and other marketing companies may use one of them. There are more, but I'm telling you the most common programs. Stata is particularly popular for economists, and many professors in our department and many doctoral students in our department use Stata as their main program. I also use Stata. I teach Stata in my master level course, so Stata is recommended. And the next, even more advanced level is MATLAB and R. It's for advanced data analysis. So the main difference here is Stata, SAS, and SPSS. In this program, when you load the data, you can do the analysis by clicking some buttons. So in the menu, there are different models you can use. So you can just click options, then they give you the results. But in MATLAB, you have to write all your codes. So you have to define a matrix. You have to compute the algebras by programming them up. So it's more flexible, but more advanced. You can handle more complicated models that's not built in these programs. So MATLAB and R are these are the programs that I use. I use MATLAB. My wife, statistician, uses R. So this is more advanced level. more professional advanced level data analysis programs. And Python is actually, this is not a statistical program. It is just general programming language, and you may use Python for statistics, but it's, I don't know, I have never used Python before, but what I understand here is this is the fastest and most general data analysis. So for example, on MATLAB, it is easy to define something, like say, so for example, you define a number and another number, and you have to sum them to get another number. But in Python, you have to define that this is a number, you have to define that this operation is addition, and you have to define that when you put two numbers, the program should return the result. So Python is more flexible, more general, but it's fastest and more flexible. Anyhow, and in this class, I may give you examples with Excel. And there are Excel classes offered by the university. If you're interested, I recommend you to take those classes. I do not teach Excel. Even if I demonstrate, but that may not be enough. So if you want to learn, find other opportunities. Okay, so let me stop this video here. And this video was the second last video. There is another video coming up.